I love your version of Montaña. It's just a classic.
Thank you.
Now, in the Black church, we have like congregational songs that everyone can sing along.
Yep.
And in Spanish churches, we have Coritos.
Yeah.
Very similar, a little different.
Are you Latina?
No. They just grew up in Pentecostal churches, so I understand the culture.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what your favorite Corito is, if it's not Montaña.
Corito es Si tuvieras fe como un grano de mostaza. That one and another one's called Renuévame, Señor Jesús. That's another one that was one of my first. So I'm a white guy. I speak Spanish, and I used to actually be a worship leader at a Kojic church in Milwaukee. So I grew up around a lot of culture, and so I speak Spanish, but I'm not Hispanic, not one bit. And so, but I think Renuévame might be my favorite, and then Montaña would be my second favorite. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about your upcoming fall United We Worship Tour.
Yeah.
Just kind of curious about that name, the message, the mission for that night.
Well, as we know, we're in politics season, and the church is very scared of politics. You know what politics means? It means a group of people coming together to decide how we live together. And so it should never, ever be a point of contention. That's my opinion. So we decided to come and create a tour that would help bring people together during worship. If people know me, I'm very patriotic. I love my country, and I think if you live in Italy, love Italy. If you live in, Venezuela or in Mexico or all those places, love the country you're with. I love this country. It's brought a lot of opportunities. So we're going to worship because I feel like we're about to embark upon some really difficult times. But we as a church, we got to make sure that we are able to, be the church in the midst of chaos. To be, I think too many of us are expecting to have Jesus in the White House, and he ain't going to the White House. And I'm just saying he's not. And right now, as it's our civil responsibility to be the light, to be the salt, and salt will rub people wrong sometimes. And it's just what it is, And but one thing we can all come together, because Jesus, I think a lot of people want to sacrifice truth on the altar of unity, right? Just let anything go. But Jesus made it very clear there's some issues we divide on, and so we pray for our country. We pray whoever gets in the White House, and we pray that revival hits the land. And we're going to go out with the United We Worship Tour and worship and bring believers together on the common ground of Jesus Christ. And so that's why it's called United We Worship, with like American flags in it. And so, anyways.
Cool. Hey, Danny, I want to ask you about, you found a way to leverage social media in a way that can really tear an artist down. But you know what? You use that to build yourself up. Talk about how you found a path for you. Yeah.
So social media, I started noticing that if we don't follow the trends in social media, you're going to become irrelevant. And here's the thing, I refuse to allow someone else to try to decide what God has already decided for me. And a lot of times, back in the day before social media, you were at the mercy of the gatekeepers, and we know who that is with radio, and they're great people. But now social media has allowed us to leverage. There's a learning curve. I used to be really outspoken on social media. As you can tell, I'm not a man who minces words. We shouldn't. I'm very sure in what I stand, in what I believe in. And the Lord has had to teach me some ways. One of the things that the Lord has had to teach me is that to unite and not to divide. Although there's going to be issues we divide on, because Jesus made it very clear in Luke 12:51 that there will be division because of what the truth stands for, right? But my part is to always pick God's side. That's what the Lord spoke to me. When Joshua was getting ready to take Jericho, he saw a man with a sword. And you know what? He asked the man with the sword, he said, whose side are you on, ours or the enemy's? And this is so clear what we as believers have to be. The angel said, I'm on neither side. I represent the armies of the living God. And so what God showed me in social media is that he's not picking my side, he's not picking their side. We must always pick his side. And so now I leverage that with the gospel and try to be as open to the gospel and share that with music as I can.
Dani, de otro gringo que también habla español.
Bro, ¿cómo puede ser?
Pues esposa latina también.
Hablamos
muchas veces acerca de Living la Vida Gokey.
¿Te quieres saber más de eso?
¿Cómo fue?
Okay, so
you can in English. It's better for everybody else.
So we have a podcast called Living La Vida Gokey. As I was saying, he said his wife is Spanish. He's a white guy like me who speaks Spanish. It's because our wife will hit us. Latinas will hit if you don't speak Spanish, and so that's where we get our Spanish from. But we have a podcast, Living La Vida Gokey, mixing the cultures. And we have it on a pause right now, but it was such a revealer because my wife wasn't raised in church. Matter of fact, my wife went to church because someone tricked her there, and the pastor said, if you're going to the club tonight, you can give your life to Jesus. And she was going to the club, so she's like, this Jesus is awesome. And she gave her life to Jesus and went to the club. And so we share those stories on the podcast and hope to be able to restart that up. Bro, tu español es perfecto. Mejor que yo. Man. Hey guys, thank you. I think that's it. Bless you.